Hello and welcome to Floristry Market. My name is Greg and you are?
I'm Emma. I'm from Lily & Bee, but I'm here today and I'm going to show you how to make a hand tie.
A hand tie?
Yes.
Okay, well I am very much looking forward to that. Before you do that though, Lily & Bee, quickly tell everybody about your credentials. You've been in the industry a good couple of months now, haven't you?
So I've been in a florist for 35 years.
Oh, a bit more then, okay.
So yeah. I was a Saturday girl, so I went in at 15 for my friend's mum's shop and I just never left. So I've done lots of different things in my career. I've run shops, I've managed shops. When my children were little, I freelanced. I specialise in wedding and events. And then for 10 years, I taught floristry to City and Guilds level, which is the industry recognised formal qualification at a local college. And then for the last 2 years, I've run Lily & Bee full time. So I teach, I do events, you name it, I do it if it's floristry.
I would say you are pretty well qualified.
I like to think so.
To show us how to do this. Okay, let's get on. Thank you for that. What do we need?
Right, okay, so for a hand tie bouquet, we just need a couple of tools. So you've got your scissors. Mm-hmm. So if you're a decent florist, you've got a nice apron. I've got a nice Floristry Market one today.
Very nice.
A new one.
Very nice.
And we just want some hand-tied tie.
Okay.
So this is the poly twine. You guys, I've been in the warehouse, which is amazing, and you guys have got a few different.
Okay.
There's this one, which is poly twine. It's an Oasis product. You've got string, and there's one with wire running through.
What do you use the different ones for?
Well,
why have you chosen this one?
I like this one because I just find it easier to work with. It doesn't slip. String I would use if I was doing maybe something natural and needed to be biodegradable, or if I was mossing. It's quite nice for mossing because it's kind on your hands. Okay. And then the paper one that has the wire running through, that's quite nice if you're making a design and you really want to twist it nice and tightly. So this is my preference.
Excellent.
And there's a few different types of scissors, but I like these ones.
Okay.
So I've been and had a little look and I've chosen some really nice seasonal summer flowers.
Oh, right, okay.
So we're going for that kind of blousey, quintessentially English, Bridgerton kind of look.
Bridgerton, very on vogue at the moment. I've never watched it.
You're missing out, yes.
Is it? Okay, I will watch it. Now, just to point out, everybody, these are not real flowers, in case you hadn't figured that out. These are flowers that we sell.
Yeah, so they were gorgeous. You've got a really, really gorgeous selection of faux flowers.
We've got a bit, yeah.
The silks are beautiful. First thing I would say, if you've had them delivered, they've come through the post or you've collected them, when they come, they're quite they've been packed up for ages, they've been transported from wherever. So it's worth just taking a few seconds, minutes, to just kind of like open them out, bend the leaves back. It just helps to make them look a lot more natural.
Yeah,
so when they first come in, they're quite flat. So you just want to kind of like move your flowers around so they've got a bit of movement and they look a bit more natural.
So this is if you're going to do this hand-tied with these artificial flowers.
Anything.
So if you're doing it with real flowers?
If you're doing it with real flowers, then there's a process, it's called conditioning.
Okay.
So that means you would check the head of the flower, you'd remove any dead heads or anything that's broken, you'd take the foliage off of the bottom, cut the flowers at a 45-degree angle. There's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll get to that at some point.
Cut them at a 45-degree angle and put them in water. But yeah, for the faux ones, you just want to kind of like tweak them, bend them, so that they look like they've got a bit of movement to them. Okay, so we've done that.
If you need anything from over here, I can be your assistant.
Oh, well, we won't get the ribbon. I'll send you for the ribbon.
Okay, all right. So know when. I'm very capable.
So we've got quite a nice vase. So again, this is like a nice galvanised kind of milk churn. Okay. It's going to go with that blousey English look.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
So to start with your hand tied, we want to create a really nice spiral. Okay. So when you have spiraled stems, then you have a nice spiral, it's nice and open and it looks bigger in the vase. Okay. And the lower you hold the hand tied, the bigger it will look. Okay. So if you've got a big vase and you want a big arrangement, you want to be holding the stems quite low down. Okay. And when you're choosing your vase and your flowers, you want to remember that the vase can be a third of the overall design. Okay. So if your vase is this big, you can go this big. If you've got like those little vases over there, Greg, you know. So proportion, super
So is that just a general rule of thumb?
Yeah, general rule of thumb is the container is a third of the overall design. Okay. So we've got some really nice tall delphiniums because I knew that they were going to go in there. Okay. So we're going to start off by spiraling the stems, and the easy way to do it. So if you've watched lots of YouTube videos, sometimes you see florists and they're crisscrossing the stems and it's all very quick. And that's great when you're really proficient and you know what you're doing. But this is a really quick, simple little recipe that if you do it this way, they'll spiral every time.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm quite excited to see even what spiraling is, to be honest.
Well, maybe we'll get you to have a go.
Oh, God.
Okay. So we've got our central flower. So it's your biggest, darkest flowers go in the centre. Mm-hmm. So they're called your focal flower, just because they draw focus from the eye. And then everything else spirals out from them. So to create a really easy spiral, if you tap the flowers on your shoulder, gives you a 45-degree angle, and you bring them in, you just open up your thumb and your finger, and then you quarter turn. So I've got it in my left hand, and I'm quarter turning it with my right. And I'm going clockwise. If you're left-handed, you might find it easier to hold it in the other hand and go anti-clockwise. Okay. So then each time, all you're simply doing is you're tapping it on your shoulder, opening your thumb, sliding the flower in, quarter turn. Okay. So it starts to spiral straight away. So we've got our focal flower in the centre, and then we're going to add some foliage all the way around. Okay.
I love that little technique, tap on your shoulder.
Yeah,
get the right
so if
angle.
you tap it on the shoulder, then it comes in at the right angle, and then you can just literally open your thumb and slide them in. So it's just a much easier way of making sure it's kind of like foolproof. So we've got our bigger, darker flowers in the centre. And you'll notice that I added quite a lot of foliage in as I go. Yeah. So in a fresh flower bouquet, foliage helps to give you space. Yeah. And it kind of keeps the flowers from touching. So we have this thing, it's called negative space. So you have positive space, means you've added a flower. In there, yeah, and then negative space is not a gap. It's the space around the design, so you can enjoy the beauty of each flower.
It's like on websites, you have white space.
Yeah,
it's the same sort
of thing.
I just noticed there you added some of these before you added the last focal bit. So why did you do that? Why did you not put the 3 focal ones together first?
Because if you put them all together like that, they'll just all squash. Okay. And you won't see the beauty of them. I want to see the beauty of each flower. So the foliage in between acts a bit like a spacer, kind of keeps them apart. Okay. When we're doing a fresh bouquet, you use loads of foliage. I would say that if you're ordering or you're creating an artificial design, you probably want twice as much foliage as you think. Okay. Because with fresh flowers, it's very bushy, it goes a long way. With faux flowers, it's not quite as bushy, they're all uniform. So you probably want maybe 2 foliages to every one flower. All right, that's good. Then we're going to add some of these. They're a bit of a filler flower, so they're going to fill it out, fluff it up. So again, we're just going to tap them.
So you've got your focus.
Got your focal flower.
You've got your filler.
Filler flower.
You've got your
and
foliage.
Okay. So my focal flowers are my most dominant. Yeah. And then I'm just adding these in, quarter turning. And then I'm just kind of checking on my colours where things are so that they're quite even. And then next, so you can see now it's spiralling.
So does this come from just years of doing this? You just naturally know what you should do next?
So there is a rule of thumb. So it's called transition. So you have your darker, bigger flowers in the centre and your smaller, lighter flowers on the outside. So therefore, everything else, all your mediums, are going to go in here. Okay. And that helps to give you visual balance. Because if you put the big, dark flowers on the outside and all of the smaller ones in the centre, the eye won't see any of this. It just looks at these. Okay. So then you've got some really gorgeous hydrangeas. These are lovely. So I've tapped them. So they've got quite a few heads on them. So I want to make sure, I did have it that way, but I just want to turn it so that kind of like you've got their face front facing you. So then as it gets bigger, it gets heavier in the hand. So then you're just taking it, I don't know, my left and my right.
This is your right.
So you take your right hand, just hand. You take your right hand and you just twist it. Okay, so if you imagine you've got a clock and you're quarter turning. So I want these hydrangeas to be kind of evenly spaced. And you can see, because I opened them up, they've got movement. Yeah. So that's really important. You want to have a bit of movement and texture. So I chose flowers with different textures. So in floristry, you've got your principles and elements of design. Yeah. So it's like a checklist, like a tick, tick, tick. So you want to have good colour. So there's loads and loads of resources out there online for colour schemes and things like that. This one's going to be called an analogous colour scheme because they're tints, tones and shades of colours that are next to each other.
This is going so over my head, it's unreal.
Yeah, do you know what?
I'll just nod and smile.
Just Google that, okay? So, but if you're just starting out in the industry, I would say one of the most important things is colour.
Yeah.
Because if once you understand colour, you can, you're halfway to creating a good design.
Yeah.
So a good design needs a good colour scheme, it needs space, it needs texture, and then we talk about form. So that means shape. So it could be the shape of your individual flowers, it could be your overall
they're nice.
shape. They're gorgeous, aren't they? So they're like very big,
Do we sell these as well?
Yeah, you sell all of these.
Oh, awesome.
So they're like your big blousy peonies, they're gorgeous. So now I want those a little bit lower down. So I'm going to just tap them. And then what you'll see then is, rather than just having them on the outside, you can kind of like shimmy them in.
Yeah.
So that they're actually in the design.
Okay.
So just keep quarter turning. Now it's nearly bigger than me. So I'm kind of like moving them in. So the beauty of a spiral is, if you spiral the stems and something's not quite right, in the right position, you can move them around really easily. So they're just going in.
So this is getting quite big now.
Yeah, so I've got these, but I don't think we need these, even though. So then we're going to just put some of the lovely clematis, which again, this is really gorgeous. I love this.
Yeah. My mum used to love that.
It's quite scented. On the edge.
So why did you turn it upside down to do that?
Just because it's heavy.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd do it that way.
I didn't know if it was a secret technique.
No,
Okay.
just because it's heavy. Okay. So then I want to just check, am I happy with everything? Can I see every individual flower? If something
really impressive to me.
If something's sunk down, so if it's fallen down in the design and it's not quite where you want it, just put your hand underneath and lift them up.
Yeah.
And so you just want to make sure, a bit like a group photograph.
Yeah.
So if you were doing a team picture, you want to see everybody's face.
Yeah.
So then you're just going to go around, make sure you can see everything.
Have a play.
Yeah. Open them out maybe.
Yep.
Take a few seconds just to do that. Again, I'm going to turn that upside down just because it's easier. Because basically, if you've paid for it, you want to be able to see it.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be hiding it. Something like this would look great. I do quite a lot of these to go on like a big kitchen island or on a hotel.
Because you do your giants.
Yeah, my Wednesday Whoppers.
Your Wednesday Whoppers, everybody.
Wednesday Whoppers.
Where can people see your Wednesday Whoppers? Where should they go? What's your Instagram?
To, Lillian. Oh, what am I? I'm Lily B822. I'm on. That's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
We'll put it on the screen, but go check her out.
Yeah.
Whoppers are
Wednesday
amazing.
Whoppers. Okay, so then we need to tie it. So where we're holding it in your hand, that's called the binding point.
Okay.
Okay. So if we wanted it to be bigger, we'd take our hand down and hold it lower down. If we wanted it to be smaller, higher.
Yeah. Okay.
So then you point your finger out, take your tie. So I've cut a bit off.
Yep.
Otherwise you get tangled up in it. And then that hooks behind. So it's kind of gone behind there.
Yeah.
And then you always take the tie over the top of your hand. Otherwise it'll be too loose.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to go round, all the way round, and pull it. And then you can pull it really tightly. And even if that's fresh flowers, sometimes people are scared to pull them because they think they're going to snap. But because once I've tied it, I'll show you. Because you've spiraled the stems, they knit together.
Oh, it's gone.
No, it's fine because I'm just going to tie it back up.
Okay.
So they knit together.
Okay.
So, just quickly. You're not a florist if you don't use your teeth to hold things.
Yeah.
Okay, so over the arm, over the hand, go round, pull it.
So did that first one then go in between your fingers there?
Yeah, so that's between there and there.
Okay.
And that's to keep that just in place. So just go round with this one 2 or 3 times. Oh, look, I've got on all fingers and thumbs now. Just go around. And then you bring the one that was between your finger through. So it's like that.
Pretty.
So if we just turn it that way. So now I've got one this side and one that side. Okay, and then I'm going to tie that.
So you just tie it as tight as you possibly can.
Tie it as tight as you possibly can. And then you can, technically, if we're being really floristy, it'd be like you should only have one binding point.
Okay.
However, I've tied that because that was quite heavy. I'm just going to retie that.
Okay.
Just to make sure it's really nice and tight.
Belt and braces.
Yeah. So, and I've crossed it over as well as I do it. I just find that helps you give it a bit more like welly.
So in the whole of your floristry career,
Yes.
what's the best tip that you've ever had and you've used probably for most of the time you've been doing this?
Well, that's a really hard question.
Because I bet there's something that you do every day that you don't even think of that somebody taught you at some point.
I think, do you know, with fresh flowers, I think the basics, I think it was so drummed into me as an apprentice, and I spent probably almost the first 2 years of my whole career doing it, is preparation is key.
Yeah.
So how you prepare your flowers, it feels like it's the really most boring part of the job because you just want to like make. But actually, to condition your flowers properly, to cut them, to care for them, to get them into clean water, that's probably the biggest thing, because if you don't do that, they don't last.
Yeah.
So you can do all of this. This can be as lovely as you like.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably that. Probably like really taking care of the flowers, being mindful that they're living, breathing things. I'm just going to move these out of the way, just because I don't need these now. So if I'm cutting these to go into this vase, so we talked about the vase being a third of the overall design. Generally, in a hand-tied, the stems would be a third of the overall design.
Okay.
So you cut the stems to the third, and then you stand them in your container.
Okay.
If it's fresh flowers, you cut them at a 45-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being, if you cut them straight, they've got a very small surface area to drink. If you cut them at a 45, they've got a lot of a bigger.
Yeah.
But for this, because I don't want to chop all these up, and sometimes if you've got a big container like that, and you chop them, they can wobble around. So actually, quite a good tip, if I
So you're
just
just
turn them
gonna-
that way, if you bend them up, so this one's about a third.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of just bend all of these up, and then that will help sit them in the vase. Now, because this is like a galvanised vase, and I can't see the stems, that's fine. If
Yeah.
I could see the stems in like a clear vase, I'd cut them all.
Okay.
You might then want some like wire cutters or secateurs, because
Okay.
these are quite... Okay, so I'm just bending those up. And then, actually, Greg, could I have the, should we have pink or green ribbon? What do you think?
Don't ask me to make a decision regarding colour.
Let's have the pale pink.
Panic on my face.
Thank you. So with the binding point, even though we're not really going to see it because it's going in this jug, I don't want to see that green tape.
Okay.
So I love this ribbon that you have. This is gorgeous.
It is nice, isn't it?
So we call anything that's part of the design that you don't really want to be seen. So like this tape, we call that your mechanics.
Yes.
So cover up your mechanics. I don't know if it's the same. Right. So again, just going round. That's like a really nice silk.
It is.
ribbon.
Sorry, I'm just tidying up after you. It's a terrible habit. It's not a terrible habit, really.
I am messy. So hopefully, I've bent these and they're all going to be like the right.
Okay.
thing.
I get it.
I know,
Tough
and I was
process.
taught, you know, when you were saying, like, what did I learn? I was taught by, like, a really amazing florist many years ago, and she taught me to work into a bin. Okay. Clearly. I didn't do that.
That's the creative mind. That's what that is.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Right, so we're going to try and get these in. Right, so...
Oh, wow, that looks amazing.
And then I'm just going to...
So if that's a bit wobbly because of the height and everything, it's quite a light vase.
Yeah.
What would you do?
You could put some pebbles in there. You could get some cellophane.
Okay.
Wedge some cellophane in there.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't want to do it as a hand tied, but it's a video for another day, you could do it in chicken wire, which you do sell.
Yes. I've
Okay.
seen that on the shelves.
But if you just want to like wedge it in a little bit, and then you just want to tweak it, turn it, make sure, you know.
That looks fantastic.
You're happy. And
That looks great. That'll just obviously
put it
last
into
forever.
situ. Yeah, lots of people will have seasonal things. So obviously this is quite summery, and then you could just, because they last for ages though, so I've got clients that they might have like 4 big designs throughout the year, and then they'll have like a spring, summer, winter, autumn.
And what are they? Are
maybe
they
Christmas.
sort of office clients that would have something in
Office
their office?
clients,
or...
personal homes.
Oh, really? So
Yeah, I think
people
lots of people are very much more, I think since lockdown, people care a lot more about the home aesthetics. They want the place that they live, you know, to be really lovely. So, and lots of people now have that big open plan living. So they have that kitchen dining. So lots of people have islands and things like that. So yeah.
Emma, I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. I particularly like the focal flowers. What were they called again?
The daphniums, the purple daphniums. So
yeah.
they come in like lots of lovely pale blues, dark blues. They're gorgeous. My personal is probably like the blousy peonies.
Yeah,
I just love them. I mean, what's not to love? Big blousy peonies. But you've got an amazing selection. I've got to say, like I was like a kid in the sweet shop, in the warehouse, just like going around.
Oh, I'm glad you've enjoyed it.
The hydrangea, they all look really real. Even the filler flower. So I'm not 100% sure what this is. It's kind of like a made up kind of filler flower.
I'm sure we'll put it on the screen, whatever it is.
But yeah, it's an amazing selection. Really nice colour scheme. Very summery. Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for that, and thank you everybody for watching. Now, if you want to leave a comment or you've got any questions for Emma, just scroll down and you can see where you can do that. It's right next to the subscribe button, just in case you want to do that. And you can even hit the bell icon and you'll be notified every time we upload a new show. So check us out on social media as well. We'll put those down there. And if you want to check out Emma as well, Lily and B,
Lily B 822.
There you go. Thank you so much for watching. Be happy, be positive. See you all next time. Bye.